Doctor here again. I want to talk a little bit about debriefs in the fire service and in first responders. And this is kind of where I got my start in terms of looking at the after action review and debriefs. I started, looking at this, very early in my career, along with Dr. Cliff Scott at University of North Carolina, Charlotte. And what we did is we were curious about, after action reviews and debriefs in the fire service, and we learned very quickly that what we were looking for and what we believe many of these industries that do after action reviews or debriefs do is a somewhat informal, or if it is a little more formal, it's you're keeping track of notes and having conversations after regular operations, right? We're not usually thinking about, at least I wasn't thinking about then, I still don't think of it this way, as these very regimented clinical debriefs or critical incident debriefs or things like that, where something major has happened and debriefing or reviews need to happen. I totally think those are necessary. But a typical debrief that I'm interested in and that I think is essential to the effectiveness of groups and teams when they're operating in these environments is the more informal debrief where a leader in that crew, of that firefighting crew, or those first responders that have just responded to something, reflect on each and every time they've been on a call, right? So they go on a call, and as they come back, or when they get back to their headquarters, the firehouse or whatever, they have an informal conversation. Hey, how'd that go? What went well? What didn't go well? And talk about it, right? And those departments that do that have a better safety climate. That's what the evidence and the research that I did early on with Cliff indicated, right? So debriefs in the fire service have been around for a while, partly because in the fire service, it's not a military organization, but it has some of that, I don't know, militaristic to some degree, at least some of that high reliability organizing, factors going on there. And because of those things, they've adopted some of those characteristics that originated in the military, like debriefs. And those that have done that seem to have a better safety climate than those departments that, for whatever reason, have chosen not to embrace this idea of reflecting on what we did and how it went and what can we learn from it. And frankly, I would say this is something that every organization should think about, not just those who are operating in hazardous or dangerous environments. All right, that's it for today. Talk to you next time.